And today, I haven't spoken to you in a while on YouTube, but today I want to go over the situation in the state of Oregon with masking, whether you're required to wear a mask in public or in a store. And what is the law actually? What does the law say? There's a lot of belief that people have now as they go to stores that there's a law that requires them to wear a mask, and the stores have to have you wear a mask or they'll be penalized. So this is based on a June 30th document from the Oregon Health Authority right here. It came out. It's called a statewide mask, face shield, face covering guidance. And I had a conversation. I called the Oregon Health Authority actually to get some clarification. Spoke to a lady there who we discussed this with. She said she's had several calls about this. And what is this? Is this an executive order? Is it a law? It's definitely not a law. The legislature did not pass this. This comes from the Oregon Health Authority. And it is actually not an executive order either. It is a guidance. She thought that it was referencing back to an executive order of the governor, but it doesn't anywhere in the document. And I told her that. I said that I'm a lawyer from Illinois. I'm not a licensed lawyer in Oregon, so I'm not claiming to be giving legal advice in this video, but I do have a background in law. And I said, there's no reference in this guidance to any executive order. So she said, that's true. That's interesting. She's like, because there are penalties, fines that you can be fined, misdemeanor fines for people that violate the executive orders. But there's nothing in the executive orders, we comb through them, that require any masking or shielding of your face in a store or in public. There's nothing in any of those orders for it. It's a guidance. It's a recommendation. Even though the guidance says requirements. Let's go to the part that's most applicable to most people that I know, which are as customers. Businesses are told also they're required to do things. So customers and visitors to businesses, indoor spaces open to public are required to wear a mask, face shield, or face covering unless the individual is under 12 years of age, except as follows: not required when eating or drinking, which would make it very hard to do, or in areas of business, indoor space, open to public, engaged in activity that makes wearing a mask, face shield, or face covering not feasible, such as strenuous exercise or singing or playing an instrument, if you're at least 6 feet of distance apart from other people. Or, of course, if you have a medical condition that makes it hard to breathe, or a disability that prevents the individual from wearing a mask, face shield, or face covering, you can then request an accommodation to enable full and equal access to services, transportation, and facilities open to the public. So that's all good. So there are exceptions, obviously, but interesting, they call it a requirement, yet there is no penalty for not doing it. There's no penalty. There's no reference to an executive order or a law in this document. And the executive orders have no requirement of wearing a mask. So I think this is a little bit of what happens in lawyerly world, of a bit of sleight of hand with words. So after the lady at Oregon Health Authority and I started talking, she said, well, I think even the Oregon State Police are told not to really enforce this. So there's really no enforcement even going to happen. And she said, we really want to just get people to voluntarily comply. So one way to do that is to say something's required when it's actually not. It's really a really strong recommendation. So what that means is that the final policy is going to come down to the store owner. The store owner can say, I don't want to serve you if you don't wear a mask. I don't know if there's any legal action you can take because of that. There could be. I'm not certain about that. But they can certainly say that. Just like they can say, I won't serve you if you don't wear a shirt or wear shoes for their particular reasons, cleanliness or whatever, or just, modesty for comfort for the customer. So I think more of this is going to come down to the store owners or managers using their judgment about what's in the store's best interest. Are they going to lose if they require a mask? There's going to be people that won't wear a mask no matter what, that won't go in, or will fight with them. Or if you don't require a mask, there's people that are terrified if you're not wearing a mask that might not shop there, or at least will make trouble. So my take on this is this. Here's what I think is going to happen. There's probably four categories of people with this whole mask. And there's one, at one extreme is people that wearing a mask and they are really scared if they're around somebody within 6 feet who's not wearing a mask. I think that's probably a small percentage of people. I think there's a much larger percentage of people that wear a mask, they believe it's helping them, and they're not really that scared if somebody's not wearing a mask because they're wearing a mask. So they might be a little perturbed by it or think you should be wearing a mask, but they're not really scared. They're not going to make trouble. They would probably shop in the store like we had been for some couple months with people not wearing a mask and have little thoughts or judgments or not even care. Who knows? I think that's a large percentage of people. I think there's another percentage of people that don't really want to wear a mask, but they're wearing one just to not make trouble and sort of not having trouble, just to sort of comply, be a good citizen, but they don't particularly believe it's making a big difference. And I think that's another good chunk of people. I'm not certain, but my guess is there is. There's possibly going to be a documentary made, hopefully, to somebody I know who might interview people about the mask thing. And then there's another group of people on the other extreme, which don't want to wear a mask under any circumstance. They think it's counterproductive. It's harming people's health. It's a small percentage of people. I know that. I'm one of those people. And I know I'm in the minority, but I think that there's those people that are, not going to wear a mask, and they probably will withdraw their business from places that require them to wear a mask, or that give them a hard time. And so the stores are going to lose some business by requiring people to wear a mask for sure. And they could lose some business if they don't require people to wear a mask from those people on the other extreme, which are terrified of people not wearing a mask or would create trouble. But the vast majority are in the middle. My guess is 80% are in the middle, and it's not going to bother them that much. They either are just accommodating or feel relatively protected or uncertain, but not too worried. So my conclusion is, at this point, again, this is not legal advice. Be very clear about this, but if you have half a brain, you can figure this out. That there is no law that requires people to wear a mask in the store. There's no law that even requires the employees to wear a mask. It's just it's their belief system. It's a strong recommendation from the government of Oregon, at least the governor and the people that are supporting her, that people wear masks. This is not part of an executive order. It's not listed as it's not listed as an order. It's not attached to any order. It's a guidance. It's I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a guidance. It doesn't even refer back to any executive order. It doesn't say it's an extension of an order. It's a clarification of an order. It's nothing. So it doesn't look to me like it is required to wear a mask, and it doesn't look to me like there'll be any penalty for you not wearing a mask. And it doesn't look like the store could have any consequence to them other than they could lose a few customers that are insistent upon everybody wearing a mask, but they're going to lose customers anyway if they require people wearing masks. So that's, in a nutshell, what I think is the situation. And hopefully this is informative for you. And it's probably similar in other states. I think there's probably liability issues that the governments would have if they mandate masks because there's so many health risks. There's people that are clearly have disabilities, can't wear a mask. And there's others that don't think they do, but there's been stories of people passing out while they're driving wearing a mask and having wrecks. There could be all kinds of liability issues. So I think that they're not going to actually be able to pass a law to require that. I don't think that would go over. And I don't think the executive orders are going to be able to do it either. I think there'd be lots of liability that the state would have. So, but again, this is not legal advice. I'm not licensed in Oregon. And I would say if you have any questions, you should call Oregon Health Authority yourself or talk to your attorney to get more advice. But this is my opinion as of today. Wishing you a wonderful day. Okay, bye-bye for now.